I don't know if you guys have checked Twitter recently, but if you did, you likely would have seen this post which shows a TikTok about how F1 will look like in 2028. Now, I want you to truly take in what you are about to see in silence because this is for sure something. So, pause the video and feast your eyes on this. This has got to be AI generated because no way a person with a functioning brain and heart was able to conjure up something this stinky. But this post has inspired me since I now want to give my thoughts on not only how F1 will look like in 2028, but how F1 will look like in 10 years. Now, quick disclaimer. For most of this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on things like the calendar and the driver lineups in a very quick manner so I don't just yap on about how my opinions make sense, so you're just gonna have to take what I say at face value. But since I already spoiled the video, here's how today's video is gonna go. I will predict 4 things, and those are the calendar, the team performance order, the driver lineups, and the fans' perception of the sport. And keep in mind, we have greedy Italian man as the F1 boss and the rich idiot as the FIA boss, so I'm not going to give some wet dream reality about Hockenheim or Sepang returning. No, if you want to see that wet dream, then go watch this video. But with these guys in charge, you can expect Chicago street race and another race in the Middle East. So before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the flock, and if you haven't joined yet, I would appreciate it if you did so. And at 7,500 subs, there will be an announcement that I think you guys will enjoy. And subscribe if you are new if you want to see a Doug ramble about nothing. So enough yapping, and here is F1 in 10 years. So let's get straight into the meat and potatoes, and let's start with the calendar in 2034. And in case you forgot, the calendar placements will have little explanation behind them, so don't expect much thought to go into them. Not like these guys do any thinking anyways. Anyways, with how Dominicali talks about the sport as if everyone's just puppets, I think the calendar will consist of, I don't know, 28 races, since this guy loves to rip families apart. Anyways, round 1, and I have Melbourne. It is a fan fave, and people love this track as round 1, so no complaints. Round 2, I have China, and the Shanghai circuit is growing on most as time goes by. Personally, I'm not convinced yet, but it does generate good money, and even with Slow definitely being gone by now, I doubt it'll put a dent in the race. For round 3, we have Japan, but not the Suzuka circuit, since I'm sure FOM has looked at all the good racing action and decided it would be better if there was some big ass corporate building. So we are in Tokyo for a street race, and I'm sure it will be as traffic and civilian unfriendly as possible. Round 4, I have Bahrain, since I think we all know why the circuit still has its place. Look, I don't think the track is that bad, but me personally, it's a little overrated, guys, come on. For round 5, it will be this Mario Kart looking monstrosity, since I mean again, money, but maybe I should watch my words before they kidnap me and force me to show love for the track. Round 6 will be in Miami, since this race only produces good racing and not absolute borefest that make me hate being American, right? Yeah, definitely. Round 7, we have Monaco, since, yeah, it's probably eternal. Round 8 though will be Canada, since going across the Atlantic Ocean twice is definitely eco-friendly, and people love Montreal, so it'll stay. Round 9, and we have the Israeli Grand Prix, but instead of F1 getting money, they are going to give Israel $8 billion, so another $8 billion to Israel. Next, we have round 10, and we have the Spanish Grand Prix in Madrid, as if Madrid already doesn't have enough attention. Round 11, we have France back on the calendar, since there will be vacancies left in Europe after a few countries leave. Round 12, and we have the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's self-explanatory really, same with round 13 at Silverstone. Round 14, and we have the London Grand Prix, and I'm sure the track will suck, but hey, how much worse can it get than going through a whole ass warehouse? Round 15, and we have the O-Block Grand Prix in Chicago, and I know for sure this race will be banging. Oh, and I guess it'll also be good. Round 16, and we are back in Europe for some reason for the Italian Grand Prix in Venice, since it was actually leaked a while back that we will be racing in Venice, so bye-bye Monza. JK, round 17 will be in Monza, and you know what? Put both races under the Italian Grand Prix name again, cause why not? Round 18, and we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, since it is an actual good track and probably won't be taken off the menu. Round 19, and we have Singapore, and the same thing again as Baku really. Now for the Americas, and in round 20, we have the Texas Grand Prix in Dallas, since nothing screams good idea like a professional race in an extremely car dependent and anti-walking city. Round 21, and we have Mexico, since I'm sure Checo is still somewhere in F1 promoting the sport, and who knows, maybe he is prolonging his life like Mr. Freeze. Round 22, and we have Brazil, since the Rio track is so much more better than that horrible place in Sao Paulo. I mean, who even liked that dump anyways? This does actually happen though, kill me. Round 23, and we have Vegas, since Money Machine plus stupid rich high life setting, so perfect for F1. Round 24, and we have the New Jersey Grand Prix, and this can basically act like a third Italian Grand Prix since Italians are everywhere in Jersey. Round 25, and we have the return of the Russian Grand Prix in the Agora Drive circuit, and by the way, yes, this will be in the winter. Round 26, and we have the Ukrainian Grand Prix, yes, also in the winter. In round 27, we have Qatar for its exquisite track, and finally, of course, round 28, and we have Abu Dhabi for, again, its neat track. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I lost it towards the end. Actually, kill me if this ever becomes reality. Now for the team performance order, and this will be more serious since you can't really make fun of the FI or FOM for this. Anyways, the fastest car will be live streaming gambling F1. I'm joking. Let's actually start from the bottom, and I think the high-tech Formula 1 team will be the slowest. And yeah, if you couldn't tell, Alpine have been sold, and I don't see a good future for the team. However, if it's any consolation, I don't think they'll be backmarker slowest like Sauber this year. I could see a couple points finishes, but regardless, slowest. Ninth fastest team, and I think it'll be the Red Bull second team and whatever sponsorship they will have in 10 years. Maybe we go from tobacco company, gambling company to corn company. But going back on topic, I think they will be ninth fastest and will be a team on the Formula 1 grid in 10 years. Sorry, I have zero clue what to say about these interns. 8th fastest, and I have Haas F1, and I could see them being stuck in limbo here since, yes, they have funding, but they don't have car company funding that is seemingly endless, so they are probably bound to midfield hell for eternity unless they are ever given a huge sponsorship. 7th fastest, and I could see these next teams being extremely close to each other, so keep that in mind. Anyways, 7th fastest now, and I think Audi is fitting since it is already being reported from Mr. Binotto here that they are behind on their engine and don't expect to be good for 2026, which is some great optimism by the way, and I think they will have to crawl their way out of bad to mid, and for now, they will be mid in 2034. For 6th fastest, I see Williams here, and they will be extremely close to Audi in performance, but just ahead of them. I think they'll be very solid consistent point finishers and not have to worry about debt since they'll see a big boost in popularity in the future, which will lead to crypto and gambling sponsors that will give them lots and lots of money. How lovely. 5th fastest, and I see Aston Martin being here, and again, like Haas, I see them being stuck in limbo between upper midfield and contender since I think for a while, maybe from like 2026 to 2028, they will be genuinely really good, but will fall off later due to key personnel leaving and simply being outdone by others around them, which will leave them with podiums or P9s. Get ready to learn midfield, Aston. 4th fastest now, and I see Red Bull being here, and they are good, don't get me wrong, I do think they will win races often, however, they will ultimately lack the consistency to fight for titles mostly, but nevertheless, they will be a respectable team again, and not whatever they are currently. 3rd fastest, and I see McLaren being here, and they will be championship contenders mostly within the next 10 years, but in 2034, and let me just throw it out there right now, there will be new regs in 2031, and this will slow McLaren down a little bit, but will still be there or thereabout. 2nd, I see Mercedes here since I think they will dominate engine-wise and will build a good car since surely after years of write-offs after write-offs and saying everyone has a target on their backs, it'll pay off, right? Definitely not, but let's keep them here. And the fastest car in 10 years is obviously Ferrari, which will be driven by 9-time world champion Charles Leclerc and 1-time world champion Ollie Behrman. So after some very reasonable and not at all biased ranking of the teams by how much I like the IME and their performance, let us see the driver lineups of 2034 and see which drivers have stayed, which drivers have left, which drivers have risen, and which drivers are still in denial. Let us start with High-Tech, and I think their car will be driven by an upcoming Russian talent that we haven't heard of yet, and his name is Mikita Mazepin, and his teammate will be Callum Ilott, cause why the hell not? Now let's move on to the Red Bull second team, and their first driver will still be Yuki Tsunoda because he still thinks he has a chance for the Red Bull seat due to being told that he is a contender for the seat. Please save yourself, Yuki. And their second driver will be Daniel Ricciardo because he never left and will be in that second Red Bull seat because he still has it. If still having it is 13th place, then welcome back DR3. Next, we have Haas F1, and their drivers will be Jack Crawford because F1 require an American on the grid, so let's see if he won't crash like Logan did. And matter of fact, Logan is their second driver, so it's a full American lineup and has no illegal immigrants taking up all the jobs. Audi is next up, and their first driver is some German driver. Let's just say Oliver Guther for now, sorry if I butchered his name. And their next driver is Mick Schumacher, so they can have an all-German lineup for marketability reasons, not performance reasons. Next is Williams, and I see Franco Colapinto since I'm sure he's probably being held gunpoint by AEIOU, and their second driver will be Pierre Gasly, since AEIOU will see him as the best driver on the grid and will probably enter some tight holes, let's say, to get his signature. Now for Aston Martin, and I see Jack Doohan here for no other reason than just vibes, and of course Lance Stroll because of his mighty talent and car knowledge. Now for Red Bull, and I think it will be filled in by Liam Lawson and Arvid Lindblad, since they are promising youngsters for Red Bull, and I would say this is probably my most realistic lineup yet, because I'm not taking the piss out of the teams for once. McLaren will probably be filled by Norris and Bortoleto, but may as well be Norris only, and Mercedes will be filled by Oscar Piastri, who wants to establish dominance for himself. However, that is not easy when his teammate is one Andrea Kimi Fernando Alonso, since he thinks he has a chance for the title with Mercedes and will get his third with them. I'm sure of it. And Ferrari already spoiled it, but will be Charles Leclerc and Ollie Behrman. Thank you all for listening to my extremely realistic driver lineups in 10 years that in no way exclude drivers that I have forgotten about and only relies on factual information. Now for the fans of the sports in 10 years, and there will be very few since F1 is now pay-per-view and most fans will probably just watch on illegal streaming websites, and when it comes to F1 TV, the price will be doubled, but hey, you actually get more now because you can now watch the driver sleep at night as a new camera feature. Not a bad deal if you ask me. But when it comes to the actual races, stands will be filled by people who worked 10+ hour shifts and could only afford general admission for race day, or rich people who could easily afford everything for the low price of $10,000 for a grandstand ticket across 3 days, or $25,000 for the paddock pass. So that is how I see F1 in 10 years. Okay, mask off. This video is a Trojan horse. I actually wanted to talk about the state of F1 and just how greedy they have become. And it's not only a problem with just F1, but just about everything nowadays. Companies are becoming more and more greedy by the day, and it's getting to a point where they're not even making things for the audience anymore, but only for their own gain. What use is another street track in F1 or another Middle Eastern money race if it does nothing to make good racing? It's clear that these countries and F1 themselves only want to fill their own pockets, and they only mask themselves as an entertainment business for convenience sake. We can only hope that slowly, audiences stop indulging in these companies' products, which make them not only lose money, but lose their audience, which leads to the company going under unless they start appealing to audiences again. Imagine if ticket prices goes lower, which leads to people who aren't filthy rich buying tickets and incentivizing more people to go again next year because it's so affordable. And hey, maybe they'll break the bank for extra offers like paddock passes since it's only a couple hundred more and not a couple thousand more. Many racing series like WEC and IndyCar have this philosophy, and those experiences are infinitely more better than F1 in my own opinion. I get it, these companies will always be influenced by the rich, however, it is getting to the point where everything is starting to become so inaccessible for the majority of people, and it is honestly so demoralizing to see. So again, let's hope they learn their lessons when fans inevitably start boycotting their out-of-control greed nowadays. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe since that will greatly help me in making better content, and make sure to let me know how you see F1 in 10 years, and as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.